Clock Tower 3 was released on the PS2 in 2002, published by Capcom, and a co-production with new rights owners Sunsoft, who had acquired the franchise after the original Japanese company Human Entertainment went bankrupt. The game was another variation on survival horror, taking elements from the original games, but also infusing a lot of its own new original ideas. It was officially the fourth game in the series, which started way back in 1995 with the Japanese exclusive release on the Super Famicom, plus 2 more entries on the PS1 before this fourth entry. The look, style, and even story elements of this entire series are based on giallo horror movie director Dario Argento's movies, and in particular the 1985 film Phenomena starring Jennifer Connelly. The basics of the plot are that you play Alyssa, a 14-year-old girl who finds out that she's part of a long lineage of women who travel through time and dispel ghostly spirits and free the trapped souls of innocent people. In the game, you end up traveling back to the early 1940s during World War II and the 1960s, defeating evil and bringing peace back to those trapped souls. The storyline does not continue in any way from the previous games and is its own standalone story, so no prior knowledge of the series is needed to enjoy it. This entry in the series was also written by Noboru Sugimura, a Japanese television writer that ended up working with Capcom on many of their horror classics, including Code Veronica, Devil May Cry, and Onimusha 3, amongst many more. Gameplay differs quite a bit from the originals, but also has a lot of those core elements. The original games all had a point-and-click style of gameplay. Clock Tower 3, however, gives you full control over the character in a typical survival horror style, with the usual camera switches all over for more drama and tension. Alyssa is defenseless for most of the game. You have holy water which can be thrown on enemies to stun them, but mostly you'll be trying to hide somewhere until they can't find you anymore, just like the originals. Your goal in each new area is to learn about a certain murder through mostly diary entries and get revenge for the slain person. Along the way, you'll also come across lost souls, find the object they are missing or want, and their spirit will be set free, and they'll leave an object for you to help open up a new area or some sort of bonus. The third gameplay element is facing off against a level boss, which is where you get a weapon, as your holy water transforms into a bow and some arrows, as you have to take out the final level boss. You also have a panic meter. The more threatened you are on a level, the higher it gets, and if it maxes out, you'll go into panic mode and partially lose control of Alyssa. If one of the pursuers hit you during this time, you will die instantly. Japanese movie director Kinji Fukasaku directed all the motion capture and cinematics in this game, giving it a real visceral style and feel, and is very impressive. He's most well known for the excellent Yakuza series of movies, Battles Without Honor and Humanity, and my personal favorite 2000's brilliant Battle Royale. He died in 2003 after directing a few scenes for Battle Royale 2, and his son managed to finish the movie. Despite the game's pretty muted browns and blacks, the animation is pretty exceptional, and it's really able to make the action scenes way more believable and intense. Jumping to different time periods is also a very nice touch. It gives a bit of variety to the game that could have easily all been set in one house, and leads to much more diverse environments. The score is also pretty good, and it ramps up at the perfect times, and is especially effective during cutscenes. It's got a very cinematic style, with some classical scores also thrown in due to the time periods of the game, but in retrospect it's nowhere near as impressive as at least the original few games. The English voice acting though is very good, generally speaking, but still borders on the cheesy for certain characters. Thankfully, Alyssa is performed very well, as is most of the key characters. On October 29th, 2024, will finally mark a new entry in the series called Clock Tower Rewind, made for all modern systems. It's a re-release of the original Japanese Super Famicom only game, now translated to English for the first time, as well as an enhanced version included, with physical copies will be done by limited run games. Upon the game's release in Japan, it basically bombed financially, and the same happened for its Western 2003 release, although the reviews were generally pretty positive. I bought this game on the first day of its release, as I had played 1996's PS1 entry and really loved it. I enjoyed this one, even though purists to the series don't like it. I think in the grand scheme of the genre, if you go back and play this now, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well it's aged, but also that a lot of its core 3D elements have been used many times in modern releases. So if you want to get into the series, take a stab at Clock Tower 3. It's still one hell of an intense ride.